Coach, I'm just curious if you saw your comments from Monday go a little viral. A lot of people sharing, was he taking a shot at current players, former players? The comments you had on the offensive line and where they went. I just was curious if you wanted to clarify that, or if you had any comment on what that happened.
Yeah, I think the thing that unfolded on Monday was probably overly shocking to me. They're my words, I said them, but they were completely taken out of context, either through people on this call or people that aren't here. Unfortunately, that's kind of the world we live in. I think anybody that knows me, and fortunately for us, our players really know me. Those were completely taken out of context. Someone had asked me a question about what we did during the bye week, and I was talking to him about recruiting. Another question was asked about recruiting in the future. It was not a question about our current roster when I answered it. It had nothing to do with our current roster. The issue that came to light was specifically when I was asked about our current roster moving forward. I said that, and I know several of you guys in the room laughed. I sat there and watched. I talked about in recruiting, I believed in the Kentucky Derby theory of recruiting, that everybody wants to remember or have the right horse. And that's what it was about. It had nothing to do with our roster that I'm currently coaching or working with, who I think that's why it really was a non-issue with our guys once it was clarified. I literally on Tuesday morning showed them the entire transcript, gave them access to the things that were physically said in that room. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? When little snippets get taken here and there and spins get taken and they get completely blown out of proportion. Anybody that's commented on it that doesn't know me is really taking it out of context, completely different from what the question was that was asked. And we'll live through the moment of it. Can't tell you, I appreciate all the people that reached out to me, that national media especially, that understands what's happened and what transpired. The kids have been awesome. So it's kind of a non-factor in this building. I understand you can't do anything about social media. You guys got jobs to do, and I understand sometimes click and bait and comments are part of it. That's what you got to do. Unfortunately, when you're a 2-5 football team, sometimes those things get amplified. So we'll advance from this moment forward and take it as a learning moment for everybody involved.
And can you tell us much about the players' reaction when you showed them the transcript or showed them the clips? And we've heard from the players that they were all, they saw it as a non-issue, but as a team, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, not really. We have routine team meetings every morning, and I just started off. Usually, I start the day off with how we attack practice, what the schedule is, everything that lays out. I made that special point. I would say probably, I don't know the numbers, but a lot of people in the room had no idea what we were talking about. We get together at 7 a.m., so it really didn't become an issue till later. But that's the thing that I kind of was blown away with. None of the people at the media on Monday took any inkling to what was said or did. I know actually you did, Robert. You mentioned something about a shots fired, which, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But I don't think anybody in that moment thought it was a big issue. Otherwise, I would have got more questions. But when it was taken out of text and put in a social platform that people can click and only take a minute of a conversation that was in a totally different direction, that's the result of it. And our players had no issue that moving forward.
So since you mentioned my tweet, if I could just ask, our interpretation, or at least my interpretation in the room, wasn't a shot at players, but possibly at, when you mentioned 3 recruiting classes that left you with no linemen, that it was possibly directed toward the former staff. Are you saying that was not directed toward the former staff?
I'm not going to make this about that, but I think if you check the record, Robert, and everybody on this call, I've been very complimentary about this staff and the players that they left us repeatedly. Talking about the people that they've left, I probably can assure that I've mentioned that at least 20 times on those Monday press conferences throughout, but that all gets washed away by one generalization. So I was stating facts about where we are when I mentioned offensive linemen and defensive linemen. That is a position of need because of numbers, not because who I do or don't have. We don't have the numbers at the offensive and defensive line, which is a premium in our program. We went from basically a defensive front that has 2 defensive linemen to now the one that has 3 defensive linemen, So we don't have the numbers. That's strictly it. If you want to take it in any other direction, that's your prerogative, but that's not the intent whatsoever. And it wasn't anything derogatory to past staff, which I've been very complimentary to throughout my entire tenure here.
Good, thanks.